Hello everyone and welcome back to another comic book review. This is the first one for 2019. Yes, it's been quite a while since I did one of these. I actually was going to do one last month. I in fact started recording one. Uh, but I wasn't really in the mood. Plus I had a stack that was about 3 weeks worth of books, so that was gonna be a very long video because I actually kind of planned to show most of them and talk about a few of them. But after the first book, uh, it seemed it took me quite a while just to get through that first book. So I just put them away. But there are two books or two series I will talk about that I think are quite, I think the ones that maybe people do want me to talk about, do a quick commentary on them. So I'll do that and I'll talk about the quickly about the new books that I got this week. So without further ado, let's go to the first book. So I'm starting with the older books and then I'll get to the new ones. So first of all, one of my most anticipated books, Young Justice #1. I think it's a fun book. The art by Patrick Gleason and the colorist Alejandro Sanchez uh, really brings the script to life, the energy of youth, the fun of it, because it's a fun book. I mean, just look at the cover. I mean, they're all smiling, not no intense action. Just you know you're getting a fun book. And the story itself, the is quite intriguing because this is something I've seen from Bendis lately, which is he's sort of playing really into with the DC with DC's continuity in such a way that he seems to be bringing back this sort of trying to make everything count, like this bringing this linear continuity, which is very difficult for DC. I mean, with Marvel, you really get, for the most part, a linear continuity, from Fantastic Four #1 to today, with a few bumps along the way, a few changes here and there, but mostly the history is intact. Just sometimes you just add it on. With this, you get the reboots, and so some elements change, some new stuff is added, some is completely gone. So it's interesting how Bendis has been playing with continuity. With Superman, we saw it with Kandor in Man of Steel, which is more of the classic Kandor take on Kandor. We saw in Action Comics 1005 the car from Action Comics #1, and in this book we're hearing about the crisis. The seven seems to that there was seven crises that have affected Earth, and in turn affected a gem world, which is what brings this new incarnation of Young Justice together, which is people, the warriors of Gem World, come to Metropolis looking for Superman, who doesn't show up, but the teen heroes do, except for Superboy and Amethyst, which show up at the very end of the book. So it's a very intriguing. So it seems Wonder Comics is going to go deeper into. It's not just a line that is going to be, dealing with the teen heroes, but it's playing with the DC continuity in such, it's like a very deep dig into DC continuity. So I'm really curious to see where this book is going, that story itself, and I think I might be worth paying more attention to Wonder Comics, because I don't know how much of it is being influenced by Rebirth, Doomsday Clock, whatever other changes are being brought by the other the Justice League book as well, to what DC continuity might be at the very end, if there is going to be a very clear sense of what DC is, as a universe, which right now just seems to be sort of jumping up and down, not very clear as to the history of the universe and our heroes, the heroes. Another book I was asked about actually by Sleepy Reader a while back was if I had picked up Freedom Fighters, which I did, and of course issue 2 here. And I have to say, I've enjoyed this series a lot. I like alternate histories. It's very well written. The art is fantastic. I especially like how issue 1 was built, which starts with a very dark moment, and then the first half like a very dark moment, and then the second half sort of brings that darkness out, and the light comes out, as the new freedom fighters show up, 55 years after the events of the first half of the book. So from darkness comes a light. So it's very, I think it's very literal, seen in this first issue. And issue 2, which is mostly action driven, which I would sometimes say, if you have an action driven book, there's not a lot of story to tell. So you just sort of feel like with big, heroes punching bad guys. But in this issue, it worked as a way of introducing the team, who they are and what their powers are and their capabilities. And so again, it does a great way of doing that without me feeling like there's a lack of something, because sometimes that would feel like there's not a lot of stuff going on, so you need to have just action, action, action. But it does a good way of introducing each a member of the new freedom fighters. So those are the books from a few weeks ago. This week. So this week actually got 3 books. One's a back issue, so which I will quickly show. It's Impulse number 4. And Impulse number 4, which sorry, I got distracted. Which was prompted by reading Young Justice number 1. Though of course I'm familiar with Bart Allen. The Geoff Johns Teen Titans sort of were one of the books that brought me into DC much more deeply when I was starting around. I was mostly a Marvel reader around that time, but Superman and the Teen Titans sort of brought me to DC, especially because at that time Teen Titans was teasing Infinite Crisis. So again, that got me kind of curious. Of course, this book was at the time I was reading Marvel. Actually, no, it's a little from 1998, cover dated January 99. So it's a little earlier than when I really started getting into comics. So I thought I'll give it a chance, and yeah, fun book. I'll do a retro review soon for this book and a bunch of other stuff I've been reading. I've been reading throughout these past few weeks, months. Actually, I've been reading a lot. Just read, the 3-book Legion, from Mark Waid and Barry Kinston, one from 2004, I believe. I'm reading the Geoff Johns Teen Titans. I've been reading a whole bunch of back issues. I just actually finished a while back Legion of 3 Worlds. Anyways, Action Comics 1007, the first part of Leviathan Rising. So this is just basically set up uh, for this arc, and it seems for a much larger event that will be coming later this year, as was teased by Bendis in his letter page in his Jing Worlds book. Both the ones that, which are generally in all of his books, also creator owned books. So it's just set up as two. It seems two organizations have been targeted by a mysterious force. Obviously, it's Leviathan, who's targeting, who pretty much in this issue they blew up a cell of the Cobra, at and the offices of Amanda Waller as well. Lois tells her dad that she's married to Superman, so I'm not sure if assembly not means knows that Clark Kent is Superman. Uh, it wasn't. It was very vague, so we'll see where that goes. Uh, and we have a nice little focus on Jimmy Olsen as well. The art, of course, by Steve Epting is wonderful. The coloring as well. We get like things like really great stuff. Just definitely interested to see where this goes. Obviously, it does not pick up from issue 1006. So we don't know what the whole thing at the end was all about. With the whole car from Action Comics that I mentioned before. So yeah, interesting. And of course, Justice League Arc number 5, which I've been picking up regularly. Interesting book. Still dealing with the whole the team dealing with the whole all these worlds that worship them, which is very weird. As well as we learn why the Coluans hit these worlds. There's a great power that it seems Darkseid seeded or hid throughout these worlds, and until these worlds are what going to bring Apocalypse back, or I can't remember. A very elaborate plan by Darkseid. So yeah, I mean, I'll be picking up this book for as long as it lasts, and I say this because this book does seem to have like a very specific mission statement. So I don't know how long or how many arcs can go into this book before its actual mission or stories is told, if you will. I mean, right now exploring the ghost sector, whatever, and dealing with whatever, we'll have to deal with whatever Darkseid's up to. Once that mission is completed, if it ever is, would mean that either you need to take this whole Odyssey book, this Justice League of Space, into different territories, or just end it. But while it lasts, I'll be picking it up because so far it's its own thing, so it doesn't really cross over with any other book like Justice League or Justice League Dark. They've crossed over. Aquaman as well has crossed over with Justice League. This thing is so far just its own thing. So yeah, so that's why I enjoy this book, not having to worry about some upcoming crossover. So Anyways, that was a very quick video. 15 minutes, a little over 15 minutes. It's a record for me. So I will end this video as I always do, as I always end all of my videos since I've been doing them with until next time, keep smiling.